Right, there we go. Finally got it to work. First time I hit live, it said I couldn't do it, which not happy about that. So, that tan is so pronounced. All right, all right. So, book talk on book talk. We are here. I'm going to invite Tanya so she can come on with me. We're going to try to have more people on today. So, let's see. Now that should. All right. You there,
How's it
Tanya?
going? Yes, I am. How's it going?
It's going all right. I'm gonna make sure that we do that grid thing, and of course that's sort of the thing. Oh, and there. All right. Well, if it's gonna be doing this.
You kicked me out.
All right. All right. All right. So let's. Where was that setting where I could make sure it's multi-guest here? Yeah, it's on grid. So yeah, I should be able to get all 9 people on there. So yeah, all right.
Okay.
And once again, I have. Let me make sure that. Yeah, we got. I got a new pen, and Lord help us that I'm on here hawking stuff on TikTok. But uh, this is this is their minimalist pen they're calling it, and it's a sort of I guess a nicer model of pen. The other one that I also have on here is more of a day-to-day pen, and it comes with 5 refills, so I'll
Oh,
never have to. Um, let's see. Okay, and I need to pin the products. Boy, oh boy. Oh, but I can only do one at a time. All right, well then I guess I'll pin the new one. And then I think
okay.
they told me today that I can like package products together and all kinds of good stuff. So that's how they're helping out the creators. But I'll tell you what, TikTok is definitely trying to step up their game and really take out Instagram and YouTube with some of the stuff they're doing with the shopping and how they're paying their creators and then of course they have the series thing now where you can upform like horizontal long form videos and have people subscribe to your series and they told some of us about so they're definitely like trying to really get that going and trying to take out the other social medias, which is fine with me because this is the only one I'm ever really on. So that totally works. But anyway, so I have to show the pins to make this legit. So there they are, and I'll mention it later because I think we got not quite 10 minutes left until the show officially starts. And I haven't seen any of our guests come up, but we have a great lineup. As always, Tanya put together a great lineup of folks, including a few last minute additions, which is really nice. And for those of you who are here, and of course, TikTok really likes pushing this out whenever we have a product on there. There we go. There's Shayla. And I know she's going to be here for the first half hour. Is that what you said, Tanya?
yes.
Excellent, excellent.
And Aaron is trying to figure out how to get on the live right now.
Uh, oh yeah, Aaron Smith. Gotcha. Well, hi Shayla. How are you?
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
ma'am. We sure can.
Awesome. It's so nice to be here.
Nice. And of course, I was trying to remember. Um, I was trying to remember when the last time you were at the High Plains Riders with us, Shayla. It's because of course COVID kind of screwed everything up. But did you do a virtual thing with us last year or the year before? I'm trying to remember.
For which one specifically?
For the Texas High Plains Riders up in Amarillo.
Yeah, it was when was that? I, it was either last year or the year before. You're right. I absolutely did. I just can't remember which year that was. Everything is starting to just run together.
Yeah, you are
It does
not.
that.
You are not kidding. All right, we've got some of our other folks showing up. I just sent invites to
Oh,
Sa-
somebody's here.
Sonia and Aaron. So we got them. Showing up. How are you, folks? How are you?
Doing good today.
Doing
I'm
well.
really excited about both Sonia and Aaron. I learned something new about Sonia today, which is going to be part of my question for her.
Very nice, very nice, very nice. All right, so then who are we missing? MK Dean,
We're,
Elizabeth Garner, and Calamity Jane.
yeah, yep.
Those are the other folks we're going to have joining us.
And I just messaged them as well.
All right, and so I just want to make sure, not that I care, but because TikTok they're doing so many new updates that some things work better than others. Are y'all choosing not to have your be on camera, or is it you having any technical problems? I just want to make sure.
I would prefer to be on camera. Do I need to have you
No,
enable that for me?
I mean, I don't think you should. And
That's
like I said,
interesting.
there's no pressure to be on camera.
No,
So
I
yeah,
want to be.
let's
Let me
see.
see if I can figure it
Has
out.
she ever not wanted to be on camera? This is a
Yeah,
question for you.
yeah.
How
And
do you
that's
guys see it keep? Oh, I see it now. Okay. I
see,
figured it.
as the
Calamity,
host, it doesn't give me much of a choice. So all right, there we go. Uh,
Calamity Jane
and then
is trying to figure out how to get in here.
I am inviting her right now. And then who else?
Elizabeth
Uh,
Garner.
okay, yeah, there we go, there we go. All right, so we're about to find out if we can get everyone on here. Yes, all right. So we got, because that's the first time we've had all the guests to have all nine, because that they rolled that out, but they didn't really tell everyone. So we all just kind of saw that there was a grid with 9 people, and now we can all do it. So all right. Oh, and thank you so much for the hearts. We love it, and I haven't
And
even.
McKenna is coming in as well.
Okay, that's right, Ms. Dean. So I'll look for her. Let's see.
Aaron is surrounded by women.
Hey, I can't complain.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, it put you down in the center square, didn't it? There we go. Very nice, very nice.
And he's
This
got
is the
that
So
really
best
nice
Brady Bunch
British
ever.
accent too, so that helps.
yeah, yeah, like narrators always have the best backgrounds, and their booths are so awesome. Like us
We love
us
it. We love
yeah
it.
Yes.
us writers. It's I do not have an enclosed space. That in fact the background I have is because Tanya kicked some folks out. Is it going to start doing that? I really hope that that's not going to be all night. Okay, well there's McKenna, so we'll get her invited, and then Tanya, she got kicked out earlier, so I'm not sure if that's just something that has to do with her or not. And then did we lose someone else? I'm trying to see. All right, are you there, McKenna?
I'm here. I just don't have video yet.
I had to go help somebody.
Who needs video?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, I did make an effort to look presentable, but I can live without it.
Well, Shayla, what did you have to do to get your video to work?
Well, I was messing with it and suddenly, I think, did I press myself?
Yeah, you tapped your own square.
I tapped my own square and then there was like a cross through the video camera, so I clicked that to enable it and then I was good to go.
Oh, now I have to decide if I want to enable my camera or not.
Do it.
That must be a new feature, and of course, they're doing so much of that. I was talking with Tanya just before we kind of got the show started a little bit that TikTok is rolling out a bunch of new stuff. Like they talked me into starting my own little version of QVC with these pens that you can buy down below, and like God help us if I'm the one who's trying to sell stuff on social media. But all right, there we go. So Tanya, I think that's everyone, right?
I think that is everyone.
All right. So yeah, this is the biggest panel and the biggest crowd we've had, so that's great. So as the show starts, a couple of things I always say. One, if you want a lot of people to get in on the conversation and get down in the comments and have great questions for us, liking this live is a great way to do it, because the more you do that, the more TikTok notices and they push it out to people. Share it with folks. So if you like one or all of the panelists, or even if you just don't hate all of us, go ahead and you can share it to some of your folks. Tell them we're here. We're going to be here for a couple of hours, and we'll be talking and we'll be learning a bunch of great stuff. And we have a branding guru for the first half hour. So this is whenever folks who really want to try to up their promotion game, they can listen to Shayla while we have her for a little while. So I mean that's useful for just about everyone on this platform, right? Like who doesn't want to get some help with that? So anyway, those are good, and we are all small creators. I don't think any of us are millionaires, and if you are, then I'm surprised that you're taking the time to sit here with me. So thank you. But so any gifts are always appreciated. And if you don't have any money to give gifts, we totally understand. But those likes are free, and those really do help get this live in front of folks. And if you want to support the show, there's also a little shop button down at the bottom. And if you find yourself in need of pens, those are what I've chosen, because you have to find products that are somewhat related to what it is you talked about. And you can't do like native advertising on your videos, I found out, which is interesting, because I tried to do one where I was talking about, like book stuff. And I just said, you should take a note. And then I held up the pen and had the link to buy the pen. But it said, no, you weren't actually talking about the pen. You were talking about something else. So it told me I couldn't do that. So interesting to learn the rules as they're rolling all this stuff out. But looks like we're getting a good crowd. We're getting some likes, so that's awesome. And so, as I said, let's while we have her, because she can't stay with us the whole time, let's start it off with Shayla. And of course, give yourself a little introduction, because you do a lot of stuff and you are not shy about telling people what it is you do, which of course is a big part of the message that you spread. So why don't you take it for a minute, Shayla?
Thank you. So, like you said, I'm Shayla Raquel, and I've been in the publishing industry for, believe it or not, 13 years. And tomorrow will be my 10-year anniversary of starting my own business. Kind of crazy to think that it's 10 years tomorrow. And in this time, I've been an editor, I've been a book marketer, I've been a self-publishing mentor, speaker. Right now, what I'm mainly focused on is teaching. So everything that I do right now is either a workshop online on my website, or I'm going to places to teach, or I'm sitting here and I'm teaching people all over, but I'm at my desk in my house, which is pretty cool. So that has been my primary focus. Self-publishing is my expertise, and I love being able to help people find a way to market their books that feels authentic and fun and actually effective. So I love getting to do that. It's an absolute blast. It's been a blast, and I'm always trying to put out as many free resources as I can. And my most recent one was TikTok for authors. So I have a YouTube, it's like a mini course to help people with TikTok for authors. So I have a YouTube, like a mini course.
Oh, somebody's giving us an echo.
It's not me.
Okay,
Not me.
Okay. So
I don't know if it was me. I mean, it was me echoing.
Okay. So,
I don't know if it was me. I mean,
There's like a delay.
Yeah, so somebody's audio, and that happens every once in a while. When that happens, we'll figure out who it is, and then that person can change their mics or something like that. But sounds all good. Oh, we got a cat in the background in McKenna's. That's always super cute. So love or is the dog? Oh, this grid is so small.
I was like, that is the biggest dog cat I've ever seen in my life. It's 100-pound cat.
These grids are so much smaller, and to be real honest, whenever it comes to writers, I'm just used to it being a cat. I'm not used to it being a dog in the background. So I think
it's actually
my brain,
a Black Panther.
Yeah, there you go. That'll work. So anyway, and I can say from experience that having Shayla come in and work with people is super helpful, because and then the past president and the treasurer of the Texas High Plains Writers, and of course I've been a member for a while, and we try to get her at once a year to talk to us about the things that she does, because and it's becoming especially important because self-publishing during COVID, kind of exploded, and that was because people have more time. It's because they have more time to write, more time to be on social media, to find places like BookTalk and learn that anybody can publish the book that they want to publish, and there are resources out there like Shayla's. Have you noticed what sort of trends have you noticed from before COVID to now in terms of self-publishing and especially the marketing side of it?
Sure. So I'm going to go ahead and answer you, and if I start echoing, just let me know. First of all, the year 2020 was strange because it was one of the busiest years of my life. I couldn't keep up. I could not keep up with how many manuscripts came my way. So you're right, everybody was writing and rewriting and publishing. One of the biggest things I've noticed is, and I'm sure you have too, but on the marketing side of things, people are sick and tired of Facebook and Instagram in a lot of ways. And so I've been having to teach a lot of different social media platforms just because people don't want Meta. They definitely have loved Instagram for years, but Instagram's engagement has been so low, and it can feel really frustrating, and so they're turning to other platforms to get organic engagement, or any engagement at all, which is why TikTok is doing so well. That's been a big change that I've noticed. Another big trend I've been paying attention to: Amazon. I don't know what they're up to, but they've been rolling out a lot of new features with Amazon Author Central. So I've never known how many followers I have as an Amazon author. I've never known that. That follow button on my profile has always existed, but we've never known. I believe it was last month or the month before, they finally rolled it out that in your Amazon author profile, you can see how many people are following you. Now, that's it. You don't get names, you don't get email addresses, anything like that, but they are starting to roll that out. Amazon owns Goodreads. Goodreads has looked the same for years, the same website. In the last year and a half or so, they've been making some big updates. They've changed the way that the website looks on Goodreads. They're even taking Goodreads ratings and putting them next to Amazon reviews. That's another big change. So Amazon's trying to do some different things. I think they're also trying to play catch up with Goodreads because it just kind of got forgotten, which is weird because everyone loves Goodreads, but it needed a makeover. And I've noticed that that's been a big one in the marketing side of things, but I'm interested to see more and more people self-publish. It's always growing, don't get me wrong, but there are some successful people out there. Used to, it was like, oh, I wonder if I'll ever find a successful self-pub author. Now it feels like to me, it is left and right. They are learning ads. They're learning how to write the best blurb. They're getting awesome covers. They're writing one book after another. They're building their list. And these self-pub authors are killing it. And it's not an anomaly anymore to run into a self-pub author who's making a cool 5 or 6 figures. That's not an anomaly anymore. So, and I think it's just because we have so many tools at our disposal now. So to me, I see nothing but good. Unless you are in the Facebook universe, you might be losing some people. But other than that, I see wonderful things happening in the self-pub world.
Do you see that genre-based at all?
In 2020, the big genre was children's nonfiction books. So why? Because they were all at home. And so all of a sudden, these kids are being homeschooled, and people needed biographies. People needed as much nonfiction as they could get their hands on for their kids. So that had a huge uptick. Thanks to TikTok, romance is always number one. That's nothing new, but it just keeps soaring and soaring and soaring because of the tropes that you see on TikTok, because of spicy talk and smut talk and all of these things. So it's really cool to see that. As far as like genre specific, as far as 2023, we'll see. But no, I don't know of anything specific. I mean, the top two are always going to be romance. After that is always, I mean, it's going to be crime, mystery, thriller. That's its own. Um, but yeah, that's what I'm seeing right now.
And what I've noticed too is that we are now all aware of all the different subgenres within romance. And do you find that it is better for people to really find that trope and to really hit that hard and focus on that, or what sort of strategies should some of those folks have whenever they do find some of those specific tropes that they really like to write?
I was updating my slides today because I'm teaching a social media class, and tropes are like if you're not figuring this out, you need to figure it out. Your book, hopefully, prayerfully, has tropes, has things in it that people are looking for. So I was taking screenshots today of Instagram posts and reels and TikToks that specifically the whole point was tropes. And it would say on there, enemies to lovers, epic
Only one bed.
fantasy vibe, yeah, whatever. And it was listing everything that you would find. It's everywhere. People want to have that quick information at their disposal so they can decide if they want to take a chance on you. I mean, it's interesting, but I mean, people aren't sitting there like reading a whole blurb because they're not standing in the bookstore necessarily. They're swiping through Instagram, swiping through TikTok, swiping through whatever. So they want that nitty-gritty information immediately, which is why you want to have your tropes listed. There's a lot of really creative ways to do that. So to me, that is an excellent marketing strategy. I've even done it.
And to make sure that we hit on this, audiobooks, we've been, for a long time, that market has been growing and been growing and been growing. What are some of the best practices that authors and narrators can do to market the audiobooks that go along with their physical books or standalone audiobooks?
So I just published my first audiobook in February, and it was really interesting getting to do that. And I do just want to say on the narrator side, I mean, wow, you guys are amazing. You guys are
Right.
so talented. And I always had this idea of what my character would sound like. I just knew in my head. And when I heard her for the first time after going through over 100 submissions, it was like, that's Joyce. That's her. So I just want to say on that note, narrators, you guys are amazing. I feel like this is the answer is what you've probably already heard. Maybe some of you haven't, but you have got to learn ads. And I really think Amazon ads are going to be an excellent option for you. I don't want you to feel like you can only ever work on Amazon ads and that's the only thing. I mean, even BookBub has ads. You can even do ads in BookBub. There are so many different things you can do to get people to find your audiobooks. I do get kind of sad when somebody does publish an audiobook and they mention it one time and then I never hear about it again. I should see it when I subscribe to your newsletter. I should see that somewhere in there. I should see it on your social media every once in a while. I should hear it. I'd love to hear a soundbite to be reminded. I mean, I think we get kind of nervous about sharing, and it's not just audiobooks, but anything. We get kind of nervous and we feel like, well, I already said something about it. I don't want to say it again. We need to be reminded, or we never saw it to begin with. Think of any little advertisement that you do, any post as a billboard, and you only have a few seconds. So as far as the audiobook side and what to do, my initial response is to invest in ads, and that is the right verb, invest. It is an investment, but invest wisely. Don't just throw money out the window. You need to learn how to do it so that you aren't wasting your investment.
And so that was going to be my next question for you is if you are on a limited budget and you can only put a little bit of money into one of the hundreds of ways that you can advertise for your book, what's the one thing that people should at least put a little bit of money in and see if they can get the best return on their investment?
So this one's hard because I talk a lot about ROI, and because ROI is different for everybody. It depends on your genre, it depends on your personality, it depends on your audience, so many things. But I do just want to say that you probably already know what it is if you will go look at everything that you have. Sit down, look at all of the analytics for your newsletter, for your Facebook, for your Instagram, for your Twitter, for your Goodreads, for your Pinterest, for your YouTube, for your ads. If you run a podcast, I mean, sit there and do the hard work, do the market research, and look at what has been the most effective. What helped you sell the most books? What investment was it that helped you sell the most books recently? Was it shocking to find that when you did a few podcast interviews in the month of January, you sold the most books? That podcast interview isn't costing you money, it's costing you time. But what a great investment of your time, because you went and did podcast interviews, talked about your book, answered questions, and you sold a bunch of books. That is what you need to figure out. All of you will have a different answer to that question. The answer to it for me is my newsletter. My email newsletter is what gives me the best ROI, but it may not be that way for somebody else. Their newsletter may come third. And instead, their number one may be something like Facebook ads, where they invest a few bucks here and there. Or it may be the person who figured out, you know what, 77% of users on Pinterest are women. And that is my target audience. And I'm going to start doing Pinterest ads. And then, whoa, all of a sudden you're selling a bunch of books, or you're getting a bunch of new subscribers or views or whatever. Look into exactly where your money or time, if you haven't spent money, where your time has gone, what has been the most successful for you, and can you up that and start investing more time or more money?
Okay, and I think it was Sonia. I saw she wrote down in the comments that you have a strategy that you like. So why don't you share that with us, and we can talk about what it is that you found that has worked for you.
Sure. Actually, I was hired by a publishing company a couple years ago to take over their ads. And so I basically stopped all their ads and started again, because if you bid really high, you're going to spend that money. So the idea is you build a lot of ads and you bid low. So basically, think of Amazon ads as like a train going up a hill. And the more information you put in that train, the faster the train goes. And so you create a bunch of ads with really low bids. And that starts to work. And I've seen it for a lot of different accounts, that eventually you start actually making money from your ads versus spending too much.
That's awesome.
Do you find, though, that the ads can't be static, like you have to keep tweaking them and updating them? Or do you have when you have a successful ad, you just go, I'm not touching that, I'm leaving it right there?
So I continually make new ads every week. And so I will make, I know.
That's smart.
New keyword ads, but I keep them as small as I can. But every week I create at least 2 to 4 new ads for each book. Yeah. But I'd say focus on your moneymaker, right? I'm sure you know, if you have more than one book, you want to focus on that one book that's going to make the most sales.
Interesting. Anybody else have something that's working for them that they want to share? And see that's where I'm at too. Like I tried doing some Facebook ads. I never even tried my Amazon ads, but I'm also published by small presses who had their own stuff that they were trying, and I don't know if I ever saw anything work super duper well. But then again, this was all I think my last book published around this time, or maybe a little later, in 2021. So I think a lot of people are a lot more sophisticated, and the tools are a lot more user-friendly now. Do you find that to be true, Shayla, that a lot of the people who are allowing independent creators to advertise and to put money in, that all of that stuff is more sophisticated now than it was even just a couple of years ago?
Yeah, and then, I was just telling someone the other day, here I am like updating my slides for social media for the umpteenth time, and it's going to change. In just a few months, I'm going to have to go update it, because these tools are getting smarter and they're getting better. So yes, and I'm sorry to back up, but I wanted to say one thing that's been so effective for me that I feel like too many authors don't think about, or they get too nervous about, has nothing to do with online. I have my books in like my favorite coffee shop here in my hometown. I get a cash app from them every month, because I sell my books there. And they set it up for me. They made it look awesome. I sign them. I have them in bookstores. I've gone to conferences and sold them. Don't forget about your local community, and then any other, outside of that. Please don't forget about that, because that's money literally on the table that you could be missing out on. So I sorry to back up, but I wanted to bring that up really briefly, that is just such a great way to make not only extra money, but people like fall in love with that book. They picked it up at a
Hmm.
coffee shop, they picked it up at a bookstore, they picked it up at a boutique, and they just fall in love with that. So don't forget to do that.
I'm
I
going
have
to
a
And
quick
piggyback.
question.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. Go
No,
ahead,
I want
Calamity.
to piggyback off of what Shayla just said. My local library has a whole section called Homegrown Heroes, and it's like all independent authors, or we have some bigger name authors in a town next to us, but like they try and do like meet and greets, or they definitely represent and like promote them. There's like a whole separate section for it, and it's great. Like, it seems so pedantic to have like word of mouth, but really it's, I mean, they're there. Like, it's sales. Sales are sales.
I
you
love that. That's
know,
cool.
a lot of the authors that I know get some of their biggest sales from having their books in book clubs and like local book boxes and stuff like that. And of course, up here in Amarillo, we have a couple of book clubs, but they focus on pretty specific fiction, and one of them is very religious fiction. So that's definitely, if you've read my books, that is definitely not what you're looking for. And a lot of the romance probably isn't in that same thing either. But you know, check those out, and the people who know about those things are the librarians. They know everything about your community. Usually that's the case. One hurdle some people might have to get over, both in the audience and maybe even on the panel, is being shy and like walking into a coffee shop and being like, "Hi, I'm an author. Do you want to help me sell my books?" Like that seems to be one hurdle, but I have found, and I tell everyone this, that when you talk about books, and if someone's interested in books, they are super nice. I've never met somebody who is both a reader and who gets upset whenever somebody approaches them about books. So hopefully, people can hear us and work up the courage to go to their local places and try to do stuff. So we probably have about 5 or so minutes left with you, Shayla. I think it was about half an hour you had. What else did you want to tell us about, either best practices for self-publishing in general, or for marketing or branding? Because I
Hmm.
know that branding is a big part of it. Haven't we talked about that you wanted to make sure that our listeners heard?
So, I do just want to say on the self-publishing side of things, because we've had some fun talking about marketing. On the self-publishing side of things, I just really want to encourage you to promote quality to your readers. And it can be really difficult because that's an investment. Self-publishing, first of all, is a full-time job. I don't care what anyone says, especially if you're doing it like really right. It's a full-time job. But on top of that, I mean, I try really hard, and this is what I say. I try really hard to respect my readers. And so what that means to me is like I'm going to give them the best book I have ever written. Now I've written 5 books, so which one is the best? Every one of them, okay? Because I went into each one saying this is going to be the best thing I've ever written. And I always make sure that I have like a gorgeous cover that relates to the genre. Super important. And I always make sure that I hire my own editor. Shayla, you are an editor. You don't have to do that. Yes, I do. I absolutely do. Editors need editors. So I really try to respect my readers and give them what I would want somebody else to give me as someone who's been reading. I swear I came out of the womb with a book. But anyway, I really want to be able to do that. And so I always encourage other authors out there, like, please, go for the quality. And also, don't get scared if you're like, Shayla, there's no way that I can afford to self-publish. I can't do that. You know what is amazing is to do a Kickstarter or a GoFundMe. I have seen so many successful people do Kickstarters or GoFundMe. My favorite example is Janie Mary. She wrote Ready, Set, Sloth, but she knew that she wouldn't be able to afford the illustrations are costly. So she knew, she's like, I want to give the quality, but I can't afford that. What can I do? She runs a Kickstarter. Not she kills two birds, one stone. Not only does she reach her Kickstarter goal, so she's able to fund this, But she also winds up marketing this book and doing a stellar job at creating really incredible book ambassadors, these lifelong readers who fangirl over anything that she creates. So I really want to encourage you to understand that, like, there, where there is a will, there is a way. You will figure it out and you will absolutely be able to kill it. I know you can. And another thing I will say on like providing quality and stuff is, don't freak out if you can't afford it right now and you're like, Shayla, what if I already published it and like maybe I didn't hire the best editor? It's not the end of the world. Nothing is permanent. You can always go back and change things. I had an incredibly successful historical fiction author who did that. She just did the cover herself and she did everything herself, but then she made a lot, like a good enough amount of money, and reinvested it, and she got all new covers and she went through another round of editing. Anything can happen if you put your mind to it. So those are just some things about self-pub I do want to say. I mean, it's really wonderful to be able to give your absolute best, and I like that. I like that feeling.
Oh yeah, indie authors, not only are they some of the most creative people in terms of the books they write and the content they create, but they are also very creative when it comes to finances and running a business, because that's a business where you have to stretch all of the dollars, because the margins in books, whether it's indie pubbing or whether you're a big five, the margins aren't good. The margins aren't good anywhere. So
Yeah.
everybody's always looking for the best way to invest their money, and that is true across the board in books, I think. But it has been wonderful having your insight, Shayla. We, like I said, our professional organization, the High Plains Writers, we get you every year, and we pay for your services, and so you're anyone who wants to give her a gift, please do, because that is how payment works on this show, because we do not pay our guests. But we do encourage people to give gifts. So if you have some more time, stick with us. If not, it was great having you. But I'll go ahead and start asking stuff from some of our other panelists now. I know that we had a couple of authors who said that they are shy, and that that's something that they struggle with. So what if any of you have a story where you've overcome that, I want to try to inspire some of our people to have a success story and try to get their stuff out there. Do any of our authors out there, did you try to pitch, selling your book to someone and it worked and you were really excited, or does anyone have any stories like that?
I mean, overcoming shyness, you got to get yourself a tribe. I have the best author besties, and we like to say we aggressively love each other, because anytime we're like, I don't know if I can do this, we rally. And everyone's like, yes, you can do it. Go make the video, go make the promotion, go do the thing. And it makes it so much easier when you're not going to fall flat on your face, because your friends won't let you. And your author friends won't let you, and your editor won't let you, and your format, like, no one's going to let you fall on your face. And you all take in turn saying, I'm not going to let you put out a bad book. You can do the thing, go do the thing. And if we need to hold their hand, we hold their hand. And it is life-changing, because I did my first book basically by myself, and I've collected people as I've gone along, and it has made all the difference.
I'm inspired just by you saying that. Like, just your example was like,
yes.
I can do it. I can.
Yeah, half the hype girls are in the comments absolutely being like obnoxious, and I love them to pieces.
Yeah,
we aggressively love each other.
We can't have them being too obnoxious, so okay.
Lovingly.
Well, not till the second hour. During the second hour, I mean, hey, that's book talk after dark. No. And so I saw Shayla. You said in the comments that you're gonna have to take off. Thank you again. We are so appreciative, and anybody who needs help with any of this stuff, get in contact with her. She has a lot of free resources, and if you do think about investing in her time and her expertise, it is worth it. I know, because, like I said, we get it every year through our organization. So couldn't be more excited that you're on here, Shayla. Thank you.
I just want to say thank you so much for having me, and I really, really enjoyed it. And I do just want to say really briefly, I said it in the comments on the self-doubt and being like worried and oh, I'm embarrassed or I'm shy or anything. Just do it scared. And I learned that from an introvert. Just do it afraid because, she mentioned that after she would just not do it, I mean, she said that my heart wasn't racing anymore and that incredible feeling, that adrenaline, I didn't have that and I liked it. Well, by the time I was done and I just said, okay, I'm doing it. I'm going to do that thing, whether it was the promotion, walking into the coffee shop, whatever. She goes, then I felt pretty amazing to know that even though I was afraid and I was shy or I was whatever, I still did it anyway. And that you just can't beat that rush, she said. And so I do just want to really encourage you guys that if you're struggling with self doubt, if you're struggling with anything like that, you are not alone. Absolutely not. And there are so many nice people out there who would just die to have your book and to read it and to then go buy more copies for their family. I'm serious. It is real, and I am cheering you guys on. So thank you so much for having me.
Awesome, awesome. So I want to two housekeeping things before we move on. One, somebody asked me a lot earlier how I got the nine squares, and that's just having it in multi-guest mode. And if you get more than 6, then they just pop up. So that's how that works. And two, if you've noticed the sunburn on my face is very, very sunburned. That is want to make sure to address that because yeah, it probably looks kind of funky, but I've been enjoying spring, and that just I go out and I walk. It helps me with my creativity, so I have been very thankful that it is springtime. So to the authors that are here on the panel, I want to hear your origin stories, and everyone has one. So why don't we start with McKenna? And I don't know, some of our listeners have probably heard this before, but what drove you to finally not only write the first book, because a lot of people write books but they don't take that next step and publish it. What pushed you to finally say, I'm going to do this thing, and to indie publish your first book?
Well, I think we're all storytellers, that as children we read and we want to continue the story that we were immersed in, and so we tell our own versions of it. And I did that all through up until high school. But I grew up in a family where writing was not an approved profession. Creativity was not. That was something you did for fun. That wasn't something that you did to earn a living. And so when I graduated from high school, it was like, box that up, put it away. We're not even going to look at it for the next 20 years. And I happened to discover online fan fiction archives. And I found that there was a whole community of people that was doing exactly what I used to do when I was a child. And it was like finding the key to the secret garden and opening the door and finding this overgrown wilderness, but going, ha! I have a machete. And you just kind of, wade in. And I did a crazy amount of writing. I wrote 1 million words of fanfic over 3 years. Wow. And then finally, so many of my friends were like, you should really write your own stories. And I'm like, no. But I finally did take the plunge, and I wrote for a few small publishers that eventually folded. And I just didn't see myself getting an agent. I didn't see myself ever becoming traditionally published. And so I said, well, I'll just learn how to do it myself. And that's what I did.
Love it, love it, love it, love it. And I just got the information that Calamity Jane also can't stay for the entire time that we're going to be on here. So I was, as someone who is from cowpoke country, I can say that anyone with the name Calamity Jane automatically piques my interest. But what obviously you have a voice that lends itself to voice acting. But tell us about how you got into doing this, because those stories. I know all the author stories and how they get into publishing, but the voice actors, I always love hearing about that.
Isn't Calamity Jane just the best? She's like sharpshooter, original, just an OG, cool lady. Um, I've done theater for many, many years, and I stand up in front of people and talk all day for a living. So like, do I maybe like hearing the sound of my own voice? Maybe too much. But like I enjoy like putting on accents and telling stories. But what I don't remember who said it. Maybe it was Shayla talking about self-publishing. But one of the best compliments that a narrator could ever get is like, oh, I heard your voice and this is what I've always envisioned X character to sound like. That is the best compliment in the world. So I started this because I needed an outlet basically for all of my accents and my readings basically. Like it's just another form of acting. For me, I also came to it from a spicy point of view. So I have a maybe like a spicier origin, I guess. So like that's just my personal journey, but like it was the same kind of thing as like building off of what McKenna said, that I like found this wild frontier, to go on Calamity Jane's words. Like I found this wild frontier and I was like, oh heck yeah, like give me a machete, I'm down, let's do this. I don't have one, but like I had an imaginary one. So yeah, so that's my origin story. Was I was like, this is a thing, like let me grab myself a coach, let me talk to people that I personally have listened to for years and be like, hey, like I'm starting out in this, and what do you suggest I do? And just basically, like anything, you listen to your people who are more experienced than you, but also people who have more of a breadth of experiences too. It's not always just time, it's also like what, the things that they've tried and the things they've done.
Mm-hmm. And did a lot of that learning happen by reaching out to the other voice actors that are here on TikTok, or were you doing this before that really, kind of, blew up, or what was the timing on that?
A bit of both. So I work with young people. I teach, so I work with young people, and like they're on TikTok all the time. So I had a professional TikTok account for my other life, and I knew how it worked, but then I never really thought about it as like, this is going to sound so stupid, but I never really thought about it as like community building. But I'm like, hell yeah, this is professional community development.
Mm-hmm.
So I reached out to some people on social media services, but I also reached out to other people that I knew in IRL to say like, how did you get started in this? And, what sort of experiences and equipment and things like that. And they put me in touch with coaches and the like.
And of course, for you voice actors, there's a lot more technical aspects, a lot more equipment, perhaps, I think, than a lot of us authors. Because I tell people, all the time, like, people graduate, generally in the United States from high school with the ability and the tools that they need to write novels. They, can get a pencil, they can get paper, they've studied, general story structure, general grammar and all that stuff. But being a voice actor requires more learning and more investment. So, was there a tipping point for you where you were like, yes, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to buy the really nice mics and, get some studio stuff? Was there a moment for you where that happened?
Yeah, definitely. I told my mom. It's like, Ma'am, I really have this thing. I have this idea. And my mom was like, well, like, what are you talking? And my mom got me my first microphone, and which I still use for some projects. And so my mom got me this microphone. I was like, thanks, Mom. And I went to a little box and recorded some samples, and they were terrible. And then I got a nicer mic and re-recorded them, and they were better. Yeah, so like my first mic was like her name is Jane too, and I hold her like a baby when I ever work with her, and sure Aaron probably does the same thing with any tech that you hold that's like over $100. I'm like, oh God.
And I was going to ask Aaron, so like kind of the same question to you. You know that going in and really putting yourself out there and having the right equipment to do that job and to put out quality work for your authors. When did that happen for you?
Just you can all hear me, okay, right? Good.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yep.
good. All right, just making sure I switched to the headphones. So for me, it was. It's always been a case of make the best I can with what I have, and then every project I upgraded a little bit, more, and so on. When I first started doing it, I had a completely untreated space. I had just a very cheap microphone, but I built myself a blanket fort and I managed to record a couple projects. They got me a little bit of money, and that went straight into okay, better microphone first, and then it's just built up from that until I have even now, this booth that I'm in is just a portable one. It's moving blankets and PVC pipe. That's it. The expensive stuff is still the microphone, the interface, all of that stuff is the things that I've spent the money on.
And first, someone in the comments said never stop talking, and if we had all night, I would say
It was me,
thing.
Rick. It
was you.
It wasn't a rando. It was me.
Yeah, no, that's and whenever I like that we are actually able to get a variety of men and women who are voice actors who come on the show, but we don't get a lot of voice actors who are not from the U.S. or at least that's not the accent they speak with. So first of all, that's awesome. I'm going to try to have you talking a lot more. But where are you coming to us from? Are you across the pond somewhere or?
So I'm currently on a short vacation stay in the US right now. I'm visiting my fiance and her family, and so I've set up the booth in one of their spare rooms so that I can still do some stuff in Utah, in the US.
Awesome. Hey, but real quick before somebody is typing and has their mic on, we can really hear the keystroke. So whoever that, and if you want to mute your mic whenever you're typing, that would be most excellent. Especially whenever we have the narrator who's a voice actor and his voice is his moneymaker. So, but yes, The portable booth, is that a do-it-yourself thing, or are there places on the internet where people can buy those?
I found online a plan for it. I know you can buy a variety of different kinds of more portable booths. I just saw a plan for a PVC frame, because that's all it is. In fact, if I turn around my camera so that you can see, it's just PVC piping, and I've just built
Oh wow,
the booth
big.
out of it. I'm 6'7". I need space.
Wow.
You need the real estate, yeah. Well, I'll bet. Boy, that must stink whenever you're flying overseas. Holy cow, being that tall.
I just got like 10
I
more
can't
questions
sit.
now.
Okay. I can't sit in a normal seat on a plane. I have to be in either a fire exit seat or something else. Yeah. Oh
wow. Yeah, and I just flew around not too long ago, and I'm like, yeah, I'm just sitting there thinking, oh my goodness, I'm 5'11", which is a very normal average height, but I'm a bigger guy. I'm kind of wide, so like that's more. I have to like squeeze in and try to get by the window is definitely where I'm more comfortable. But yeah, that's a whole thing. So anyway, getting back to the actual reason why we're here, which is talking about books and creativity and all of that stuff. I wanted to loop the authors back in and kind of how many of you have audiobooks that have been produced from your books? So all right, so McKenna, what is the process like for you? How many do you have? And do you have like just one or two voice actors that you work with, or how did that work for you?
Well, so I've done it several different ways. I did open auditions for one many years ago, and then that book is not currently published anymore. But it's like most people say, you hear that one voice and you're like, oh, this is it. It must be you. I don't care how much it costs. It will be you. Um, and then with my current book, I actually met somebody through TikTok. And so we got talking, and she wanted to expand she was doing more fantasy. She wanted to do, or young adult rather, and she wanted to do more cozy mysteries. And so we were like, let's form an alliance. Let's form an alliance. And so we put that together. It's a very big expenditure, and so and for a lot of people it's a long game, and so you have to keep that in mind. It's a rapidly growing market, but you have to be prepared financially for it. You can't just jump into it lightly.
And did you do upfront fee or
We're
royalty
doing a
share?
royalty share, yes, but and not everybody does that, so you have to consider that as well.
Gotcha. And so this is the point in the show where I say we have a couple authors on here who do not yet have audiobooks, and I know that we have a lot of good voice actors in our comments. So this is where we say, hey, let's all reach out to each other, because we've actually, and I'm proud of this, and I know Tanya is too, we've had people who have met during the show and who are producing audiobooks right now. So this, and it's what Shayla said earlier is very true. Where there's a will, there's a way. The more you share your, I guess, I don't know, demos probably is not the right term for the voice actors, but all that
Auditions.
stuff, auditions, yes, and all that stuff. So I want to encourage that to happen as we go through and we talk with these authors. So for the other two authors we have on the panel, what has been the thing that has kept you from taking that step into the audiobooks? Elizabeth, how about we start with you?
They're expensive. I mean, they're worth the money. I'm not saying like they deserve the money. Like it's a craft, it's an art. They need to get paid. Everyone's got bills to pay. I get that, and I'm just like, I can't afford you yet. I just recently realized you could do profit sharing through ACX, and so I'm like, oh, hold please, hold on. I might jump on this train a little faster than I thought I'd be able to. So that's been a recent revelation of mine.
Gotcha. And I actually wasn't aware that the profit sharing was an ACX function. I know that a lot of the audiobook narrators that we've met here on TikTok do that when they're working one-on-one with an author. But that's really cool that ACX has that available. So that certainly will open up the doors to a lot more audiobooks being produced. Sonia, what have you? What's your version of looking at the audiobook world?
So I am actually going to do my own, and I actually have a setup, and I started by doing my own podcast. So I get used to, the flow of talking and trying not to make mouth noise and all that stuff. So, doing a podcast right now, and which just won an award. Yay!
Cool.
Yeah. So next up will be, I want to practice doing one of my short stories as an audiobook.
All right. Well, I'm going to come back to that podcast and award because that's awesome. But Calamity Jane and Aaron too, why don't you offer some wisdom for Sonia as she embarks on this really awesome sounding journey?
Wisdom? Not known for wisdom over here.
Okay, fine. Tips and tricks, whatever you want to call it. Like, what should she be looking out for?
You can, if you thought you drank an obscene amount of water, double that. Just like Flashdance, just drown yourself in water. Oddly enough, so there's like the lore of my first microphone is that I left it in my school bag and my lunch spilled all over it. So I would chew gum to avoid the smell of pickles coming from my microphone, which they say like chewing gum is not good, but I disagree. Like for me personally, I found that like chewing gum actually like obviously not while I'm recording, but I chew before I do because I feel like it lubricates my mouth for lack of a better term.
That's a cool
Yeah,
idea.
I
Thank
would.
you.
I would agree to that, and I used to think that drinking water made my mouth wetter, so the mouth sounds would be worse. But no, keeping yourself really properly hydrated, the mouth sounds just aren't there anymore.
Right.
Oh, Sonia,
I would also
no.
add.
Oh, go,
Sorry.
go, Aaron, go.
That's okay. I would just. I've talked to a couple of people who wanted to get started in it, and the first thing I said to them is, you need to learn to slow down.
Mm-hmm.
Something that people don't realize is that it's not just reading the book as you would read it. As you're reading a book, you're going to read it quite quickly. But you need to slow down so that every word is a little bit clearer, and it takes practice to get the right pace, and the right pace is different for different books. But slow down.
Got it. Thank you.
All right, all right. Well, we appreciate you doing that. And so now, why don't we very quickly, Sonia, what is this podcast and where can we hear it and what award did it win?
It is the 5 Minute Author, and it's all about writing and publishing. And you can hear it on Apple Podcast or anywhere else that you listen to your podcast. And it won third place with New Mexico Press Women's Communications Contest.
Nice. That is excellent. That is excellent. We love celebrating wins on here because whether you're a voice actor, podcaster, writer, I don't know about cover model maybe, but for most of us, we have to celebrate those little wins because in the entertainment industry they do not come very often, and so when they do come, you have to really take the time to celebrate. So that is awesome to hear, Sonia. We absolutely love it. Now, Calamity, are you with us? Just for a few more minutes. I know how much longer do we have you for?
Oh, I can like I'm nine-ish. I'm gonna stay till like 9-ish, and then I have some duties to attend to.
And so that would be Eastern time. So like
Oh shoot,
5 or 10
yeah.
minutes, or whatever. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I was just
Sorry.
making sure. I was just making sure because if you were like, no, I have till 9 o'clock Central, well then okay, then that's
No,
whenever all of us are going to be on here. So
it's very East Coast of me to only think
yeah.
of myself. So
No,
I
that's fine.
apologize.
And it's only top of mind for me, I think, because in my day job we talk to a lot of people from a lot of different places. So I always have to ask what time zone are you in? That's like my new catchphrase. What time zone are you in? So I want to going back to origin stories, Ms. Garner. Why don't you tell us a little bit about how you got yourself into the indie pub world?
It kind of has a two part thing. I originally really dove into writing as a way to escape high school because high school had a lot of sucky parts, and so I wrote to get out of all that. But like the publishing end of it more started with a creative writing course in college. We had to write a short story, and it was supposed to be 4 pages. And I did not do that. And my friends will all go, shocker, Elizabeth wrote too much. But it was the closure I knew I wasn't ever going to get from a bad situation. And as we all did during the pandemic, it was now what do we do? And I'm like, I'm going to finish that story. And I'm like, oh, I'll write my one book. I'll do it. I'll do the thing. And one book turned into a trilogy, turned into a second series that was supposed to be 3 books, and now it's going to be 10, and it just snowballed.
That's usually how it works out. Well, putting your stuff out there, either publishing or getting published, but it's the same feeling either way. Having your work out there and knowing that that people can read it is at once scary as hell, but also really like like an exciting rush. Like that's how I
Yes.
found it. Like whenever people could first, like when my debut was officially, actually before it was officially on sale, I actually was at a signing and was like having selling copies, and I was like, oh man, and like so the first time I was in a Barnes and Noble, it was actually the second signing. Someone bought a book and they said, I'm gonna go start reading it. And then they went over to the coffee shop and they sat down and started reading. I was like, oh geez, with me here, like please don't do that. What? Oh no. And so but and she was very nice. And so she came back like after people had kind of cleared out. And she let me know that she was really enjoying it, and she thought she was going to be able to finish it in a day or two. And I was like, okay, good, because you totally author brain. You're sitting there going, she's going to come over here and say, this is BS. I want my money back, and slam it down on the table while people. So I was like, oh man, no. So but yeah, that's like my little story of embodying both the yay, somebody's reading it. And oh my God, somebody's reading it. Like that same thing that's happening. Does anybody else get that feeling whenever they know if they ever think about, oh, my books are out there and people I don't know are reading, and they might like it and they might not like it. It's like Schrodinger's book. Do they like it? Do they not like it? You can't tell them unless they're commenting.
The most terrifying words I can hear. So I read your book.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. Oh my goodness. Somebody make
Instant
that
panic
meme.
attack. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody needs to make that meme and send it to me. I will repost the hell out of that, because that is so true. Yeah, those are like if you want to strike fear into an author, say that, no doubt. Sonia or McKenna, either one of you have you what do you think about people being out there and able to publicly comment on your work? Like the first time you did it, did you find it scary? Was it exciting? Did you try to block it out? Like what was that like when your first book was out there?
I probably paid too much attention to it at first, because you're, it's a little like when you release a book, it's like Noah standing on the ark, releasing doves, hoping that they will come back with evidence of dry land out there somewhere, and every day you release the dove and, there's no evidence of dry land. And so, I do think that initially, I can get 50 great reviews and get one bad one. And I'm like, oh, my book sucks,
Yes.
and it's amazing that it has the power to negate the good stuff. I try not to pay attention to it anymore. I really don't. I've been writing for a while now. I have like 15 books out under various pen names. I think I finally found my lane. And, I'm like, hey, I'm doing this for fun. And if you enjoy it, yay, that makes me feel great. And I'm glad I made your day better. But if you don't enjoy it, I'm not going to stop writing. So, oh well.
There you go. Aaron and Calamity, what's from an audio, from a voice actor's perspective, what's it like for you whenever your audiobook is first out there? Because it's usually, not always, but usually it's already been out there as a book, and it already has those kind of reviews, and people like it or don't like it or whatever. But what's it like for you guys whenever it's out there and people might be able to review it? And I know on Audible they can specifically review like the performance. Like, what's that like? Go ahead, Aaron.
Aaron, I think we've established that you have to talk first here.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to give you the opportunity to do so first. Okay. So
a very polite
I try not to. Yeah, I try not to look at too many of the reviews. For me, it's always a bit of a shocker when someone I know, a family member, says, "So I was listening to an audiobook recently, and it was your voice." Oh, okay, which one was it, and which genre? But I'm really grateful for the opportunity that Audible has in showing a separation between the narrator and the story. And I hope that people listen to the audiobook as much to enjoy the book as it is my voice, but it is always nice when I see a little comment in the review that says the narrator did a good job. That's wonderful. I've never followed a specific narrator. Like, it's just the narrators are in all the books. You follow an author because all the stories they write are going to be similar, but a narrator's across the board kind of thing. So it's nice when people do.
Awesome. Calamity, how about you?
I actually don't have. I have two books that I'm in process of right now. I have one that I'm probably going to be able to submit by like the middle of May. So I don't have anything published that people like that readers or listeners have commented on yet. But I do have like other stuff and Patreon thing and my social media stuff. And I gotta tell you, it is super hard to like. I can't listen to myself. I don't like. I know I have to. I know I edit. Right. See, Aaron's nodding his head too. Like I cannot listen to my own voice. I find my own voice absolutely horrible. Not horrible, but like it's hard to listen to my own voice. So I 100% though am with McKenna on like I'm just gonna do this no matter what. If you like it, you like it, and if you don't, please go listen to someone else. There's lots of very famous, very talented people out there. So talented. I have like not followed, but like I have stuck with narrators throughout that. I'm like, look, I love your voice, but I agree with you. I totally understand. Like you're going to sound different no matter what book they're reading or character they're embodying, because of the calamitous nature of myself. I like people who can do a wide variety of things. So like I enjoy when I'm like, oh, let's see what this particular narrator's doing. Oh my gosh, she's Southern. This is crazy. So I kind of dig that. But I agree with you. It is tough to follow people sometimes because you're like, I don't really like the way they sound with a French accent.
There's a really good question here in the audience.
Yeah.
Britt wanted to know, do you guys have a normal voice and a booked voice? And if so, can we hear the difference?
Yes.
All right, Aaron.
Simple answer.
So whenever I'm talking to someone that's around me, whenever I'm engaging, I tend to have what I would call my indoor and my outdoor voice. And my outdoor voice has become more of my performance, my narrating voice for myself. And for that, it's just almost projecting a little bit more. So if I and I'm terrible with coming up with things to say. I've got a little thing next to me that one sentence is a steady lump forms in my throat. So if I was just talking normally, that would be that. But narrating, a steady lump forms in my throat, and my eyes begin to sting. So it's just a little bit more, right?
Excellent. And so Calamity, you said that you did like stage work and stuff. Is it close? Is your narrating voice close to the one you would use on stage, or would that be like way too much and blow out the mics?
No, not. I mean, obviously, volume control for sure is something that I work on with my vocal coach and like closeness to the microphone. But my like people that I know who have listened to what I'm saying call it like they say it like they liken it to cake frosting. Okay, so like my voice normally is just like frosting on a cake, but when I do my like my audiobook voice or even my stage performance voice, it's smoothed out. Like it's smoothed out the frosting on the cake. It's made its way all the way around. I have nothing even around me to read, but like I also find that like I'm a faceless narrator, so my physical like my performance on stage is visual. So my performance on stage, I often have to put on a lighter sound than is my normal voice. Like this is my normal voice, this is my talking voice, but I often get cast as parts that I have to sound a little bit brighter for. So I have to sound a little bit younger and a little bit, I don't know, less jaded. So it's definitely, and that's definitely what you're looking for in romantic fiction or even fantasy novels sometimes too.
Well, and also, by the way, I don't think we took enough time to really appreciate and clap for Aaron, because that was very cool when you went from your normal voice and just shifted into your narrating voice. Like the difference was just, I mean, so pronounced. So that was very excellent. So thank you for doing that. I know that we kind of put you on the spot there, and because I know, like, as a writer, sometimes people are like, yeah, well, make up a story right now, and I'm like, that's not quite how it works. So we appreciate you being willing to do that, Aaron. So we're at the top of the hour. This is the point where I kind of reset everyone. For those of you who may be new joining us, this is Book Talk on Book Talk, where we have authors and voice actors, and we had marketing gurus on earlier. I know we had at one time down in the comments we had a cover model. So if it's related to creativity and books, we like to come on here and talk about it. We have 18,500 likes, which is awesome. But the more likes we get, the more TikTok pushes us out there, the bigger audience we get. So we love all the interaction. We're all small creators on here, so gifts are always welcome. We've been getting a lot of gifts today, and we thank everyone for all of those. The only other two ways you can support us, I do have a TikTok shop down below, where if you're running low on pens, you can buy some pens. I think I'm obligated to show them. So we have pens. They are nice pens. I do like them. And I've turned on the subscription for my lives. So if you want to subscribe, I do go to conferences and I do interact with some cool authors sometimes. So if we get some people to subscribe, maybe I'll do some subscriber only lives, and we'll do some interviews with some of the authors when I'm at like Thriller Fest or some of the other book events that I go to. So anyway, all that's there. But most importantly, thank you for joining us, and thank you to our panel. We have a great mix of authors and audiobook narrators, and we've been talking with the voice actors. I want to get back a little bit to the authors. One thing that people always, you know what? Actually, this is the point in the show where Tanya gets to take over, and Tanya,
I was about to be highly offended there.
I know. This is Tanya knows our panelists so much more than I do, because she is the reason this show exists, and she rounds up these panelists, and she is good friends with them. So she is going to have some much more intimate questions, not in a bad way, just because she knows them so much better. So Tanya, why don't you go ahead and grill some of these folks, and probably starting with Calamity Jane, because I know that she's
she has to bow out right away.
I am here for intimate questions.
Awesome.
I told you the second hour.
And I know so much about you.
Yeah.
Insert evil laugh here. I know that you have this destination that you want to eventually get to. Would you care to share that with the group, and why? Calamity?
Are you talking to me specifically?
Yes, I am.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I mean, my problem, not problem, but my current situation is that I have like a feet in two worlds. I have a foot in narration, which I'm actually loving, and I have a foot in spicy audio content creation, which I also wicked enjoy, but have definitely found not to be as friendly as the audiobook narration world. I think your question was like, how do I plan on getting to that destination?
Correct.
Slowly but surely.
Oh, come on. You had a better answer than that the other day. Come on.
I don't even remember what I said. I was smarter the other day. I don't know. What did I say, Tanya?
Oh, you were talking about certain authors that you were hanging out with that were guiding you in a little bit better pathway. And then you also were talking about Italy.
Oh yes. So okay. I 100%, I'm learning so much from talking from other narrators, but also from authors who I'm definitely an earthy, crunchy kind of person, and I feel like pulled towards certain people, and they're kind of they're inventing stories as I'm as I'm trying to read them. And it's amazing to be the mouthpiece for somebody, and to maybe even be there at the inception of this idea that they're having and to help them form that. I also super love the idea of I am bilingual, and I'm looking for more representation of that in audiobook narration, which is tough to find. It's there, but it's tough to find. So I would love to see that be more at the forefront of things, I think.
Mm-hmm. And what were those multilinguals so that other people can know what is available to them should they choose you as a narrator?
Oh, I speak Italian, and it's actually what I teach. It's part of what I teach. I teach world languages and religion and Italian. And so I'm finding that there's actually a lot, speaking of Shayla's talking about tropes, there's a lot of tropes for mafia. So I've
Yeah.
actually had a couple of authors reach out to me to say, like, is this how I would say, so and so. So yeah, I speak Italian and obviously speak English.
Could you speak
And
Italian right now? Sorry to interrupt,
Oh,
Tanya, but we would love
Rick,
to
I
hear
was
it.
just about to say to like bow out and be like, thank you so much for what you do here, because like it's gonna be. I've been watching this live for so long, and like now I'm on it, and it's a little surreal. And I was gonna say thank you so much for what you're doing, but now you're gonna put me on the spot like this. So here,
We did it with Aaron. It's only fair.
posso. Fine, ok. Posso parlare in italiano, ma è difficile perché nessuno qui c'è, immagino, non c'è un altro italiano qui. So, like, I could speak Italian, but it's different. You're just not really saying anything to anybody who maybe understands me. But there you go.
yeah, and that's how she and
we
I
don't
met
really
was
care what you're
because
saying.
yeah, that's how she and
That
I
sounds
met because we found out that we both spoke Italian, and so we were chattering back and forth.
I did not know you spoke
That's right. That is
Italian,
how we
Tanya.
met.
That is how we met.
Oh my goodness.
And I was telling her about the house that I rented over there in Italy for a while. So,
Oh wow. Well, so thank you, Calamity, for once again, just like Aaron, doing something on the spot that we asked you for, and I am incredibly flattered that you are watched us and find it surreal that you are on the show because it's just one big conversation. Like there's for anybody out there who wants to be on here and who's been on here, like there's never any pressure. We're just a bunch of cool people chatting amongst ourselves on TikTok. Like that's how I try to look at it. But thank you for joining us. We really enjoyed having you, and I know that you said you don't like your voice, but we all love your voice. So we appreciate you being on the show. Seriously.
Thanks so much. I've followed everybody. I'm going to promote everybody. I'm going to go listen to Sonia's podcast this week.
Yes.
I'm pumped. I'm pumped.
thanks
Have a
for coming and
fantastic
showing
night.
up.
I wish I could stay. Have a fantastic night, everybody. Bye.
Good
You
night.
too.
Have a
Thank
good
you.
night.
Thanks.
Fine.
Ciao, Bella.
All right. So Tanya's back at it. Who's your next victim?
Oh, let's see. Who do I pick now? Oh, I know. Okay, so Aaron, how you doing?
I'm doing
You
all right.
have good. You are the voice of this very huge author over there in England. And AP is somebody that I have been helping to be able to come into his own right as an author. Can you tell us more about that journey that you've taken with him?
Yeah, so I'm actually currently working on a fourth project for him right now. It's due to I should have it finished in the next few weeks. But
Cool.
when it all started, I was scrolling through TikTok. I saw a couple posts of his, and he does some fantastic short.
Real quick, who's the author? I think I missed it.
AP Beswick.
Oh, no way. I love him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
See,
I know you're talking
we
about.
all love him.
Fantastic. Mhm. So I was looking at his videos and thought, okay, these intros to his books are really cool, really interesting. And I I scroll through a couple of the comments in one of them and see that someone has asked, are you going to get an audiobook version of this at any point. And the author responded with, I've thought about it, but I don't know how to go about it. So I private message him saying, hey, if you are interested in turning your books into an audiobook, I am a narrator and I can help you through the process, tell you what you need to do in order to get it onto ACX, which is a very simple way of getting your project up there. And I would love the opportunity to audition for that project. If you choose someone else, that's fine, but I'd like the opportunity to audition. And from there, he listened to a sample that I did and loved it. And so we've just gone from that point on. Now, his books are a fun read for me because they're all from different points of view. I have to do different voices for the narration, as well as just the actual dialogue. And it got me into a difficult situation with the new book that I'm doing, because I gave an accent to a character in the first book that he loved, and now he's the main POV for this fourth book. So I'm doing the entire book with that accent, right? But he's been fantastic. He's absolutely blown up. He's doing so much work to promote his books, and because he did paid upfront PFH payment, I don't see the sales numbers, but I hear they're pretty good. He's been able to do.
They are excellent. Yeah, they are excellent. He did a Kickstarter, and he managed to be able to quit his day job off of that Kickstarter.
Nice.
And I was so thrilled when he picked Aaron for his books. And I know Aaron doesn't know much about me, but I've been kind of stalking him on the pages a little bit because he's got such a great voice and such a huge vastness of characters in his voice. And I have listened to him on several different books, but I knew his voice would be excellent for these books. And he is just done beautifully. It's like chef's kiss beautifully on these books. And the one that I was helping out with on the Kickstarter, it's about a new version of Santa Claus. And he's a badass Santa Claus. He's got a 6-pack ab and he is hot. Oh my gosh, you will. Yeah, I mean, if this Santa comes down your chimney, you're going to like tie him up and mug him for like 6 days straight. But anyway,
that's great.
Aaron does. Yes. Oh my God. Aaron does that voice perfectly. And I think that's why that's such a big seller, is because Aaron and AP are such a team on this. And that's why when Aaron said he would be on the show, I kind of had a fangirl moment that I had to hide so nobody would be afraid of me. But thank you so much for coming.
Over me. That's nice to hear.
Oh gosh, yeah, I was all jumping up and down and going, oh my God. But and for all of you who don't know any of Aaron's work, he does have several books out there, and he does an excellent job with them as well. But by all means, go pick up all of AP Beswick's books, because Aaron is just sublime in those books.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I was so happy when you said you were going to be in the United States for this. Oh my gosh.
It's hard to attend something like this at 2 o'clock in the morning in the UK.
It is. But I appreciate you coming over and seeing your girlfriend so you could do that, or your fiance so you could do this for us. I appreciate it. I know. I made it sound like it was all for us. I just want to pretend for a little bit. McKenna, I have learned so much about you.
Lies. I'm sure it's all lies.
You were the one that told me, so I hope not.
Probably they are. You know, I make up stuff for a living, so.
First of all, I want to hear about both of your lines of your book, but I also want to hear about what you used to do in your past with your horses. You know, what levels you got
Oh,
to there. Yeah, there. So go ahead, go for it.
so I write uh, I write paranormal romance under the name McKenna Dean, and then I write cozy mysteries under MK Dean. And really, it started out, all of my romances have a mystery to them, and all of my mysteries have some sort of romance to them. I don't have real clear-cut lines there. Um, but to be honest, I never thought I was smart enough to write a mystery. I just didn't. I'd be like, well, I can write romance. That'll be okay. And somebody just kind of kept pointing out, you realize this has a mystery running through it, right? And so finally one day I said, oh, well, I really love the cozy mystery genre. I'll just try one and see what happens. And it turns out that's my lane, and that's probably where I should have been all along. And so that makes me very happy. I do intend to finish a trilogy under the McKenna Dean imprint, so to speak, but then I will probably, it'll be cozies from here on out.
Good, because I really love your cozies.
Oh, thank
Can,
you.
can you tell some of the people about your cozies?
So, I'm a terrible cook, and I can't do crafts, and I'm a horrible gardener, and I would make a horrible wedding planner. So I decided that I would make my cozy mystery protagonist a house call veterinarian, because I figured that she would be in a position to find out things. She would be going to people's homes, and she would be, the profession can be somewhat emotional, and so she could learn things under duress. Anyway, that was my thought process. I was like, I don't think I've ever seen a house call veterinarian as a protagonist. I've seen park rangers and you know all kinds of stuff, but not that. And so I was like, well, let me just give that a shot. So that's why I chose that. And eventually, I'm like, well, okay, I'll have to, series have a finite end. And so, well, most of them do. And then, what will I segue into? And most of my jobs as a professional have been in the animal related industries. And you mentioned the competitive riding. I competed on baby eventing levels. But I bought my first horse for 89 cents a pound. And um, he took me as far as he could, and then I bred the horse that I wanted and did a little bit of eventing. If you're not familiar with that, that is a sport that combines dressage, cross country, and stadium jumping. So eventually I may have like a series that focuses around that. I've also done dog training. I might have a series that, a dog trainer is the main protagonist. We have scope that does not require me, killing plants or burning cookies.
And this is why I like hanging out with you, is because you got this really low-key, dry humor about yourself.
No, that is honest. That there are no lies there. I use the smoke detector as a timer for cooking. I actually want a smoke detector that you can yell at it and just go, "I'm just cooking,"
And this is why when you tell me that you're too shy to walk into a bookstore and promote yourself, or an event and promote yourself, I'm just going to call BS on that one. Okay.
You have to understand, it's I am very much an introvert. When I do a thing, I'm an actress. Like, if you watch my TikToks, I'm out there being goofy and stupid and wearing wigs and lip syncing and what have you. It's all, me putting on a show. And at the end of the day, I'm like, game over, I'm done. I need to plug in and recharge, that's it. So
I'll be
it's a
dragging you
limited.
in when I go to Virginia. I'm going to be dragging you into the bookstore going, "Hi, this is McKenna. You want her books. You really, really do."
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. Sonia, I know we missed a couple of weeks ago having you come onto the show, so I am really glad that you were able to arrange for this today. You have a couple of different lines of books, and I was wanting you to go through them all if you could.
Well, all right. So my main set of novels are adventure thrillers, and they go back and forth between two main characters. And so, like, book one is Toy the Gods, and it is a group of tourists are stranded in the Amazon jungle by an Inca god, and they have to make their way out on foot past bandits hired to kill them, a banana plantation owner with a secret to keep, and drunken monkeys. Yeah, so I try to bring humor. I try to bring humor to my stories, and that's my main series of novels. I also have nonfiction, so I have my 5-minute author series, which is how to write a novel. Let's see what else. How to self-publish, and then also my latest book on Amazon ads. And then I have a lot of short stories because I run an event for short stories every quarter. So I have a fairy tale series. I have, oh my gosh, the Maltese Pez dispenser, you know.
That's my favorite.
I love being silly and ridiculous. And I have one more. I did a dark fantasy, spicy fairy tales anthology with a group of other authors. That one's under a different pen name, Cecilia Garland. But yeah, I think that's it.
How did you get started doing the women's writing group?
Oh, okay. So yeah, I'm CEO of Women's Thriller Writers Association. And I started it during COVID because I was attending a lot of online events where women were talking about how hard they were finding it to publish their thriller books. And, you know, women needed support. Women need, you know, if you're writing a thriller, you kind of need to be able to talk to someone about how to murder people.
Yes.
Things like that. Yeah. But then also, like, I had a hard time publishing my book. When I tried to publish my first novel, an agent told me no one's going to read an adventure novel with a main female character, which of course he was wrong, because that's, you know, I've got lots of sales on that book, so he was wrong.
Ken is taking notes.
Well, here, listen to this one. Last year, someone told Linda Petrilli that a male agent told her that her book made no sense because a woman can't use a sniper rifle. So the shit that agents say to writers is just like,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, so I helped her publish, and her book's out there, and it's like, that is why I started the company, because of shit like that.
Jeez.
Now, should there be any female writers out there, or any writers out there who want to get in touch with you for that purpose of the Women's Writing Association, how would they do that?
They can send me an email. It's sonja@women'sthrillerwriters.com. And yeah, don't forget the J, not a Y. Sonia with a J.
And I'm sure Rick understands why I'm so excited about having you on the show.
Oh, yeah.
It's because I'm a psychological thriller writer.
Ooh, nice.
And so when I found out that you were doing all this stuff and that you were coming on the show, I had a little fangirl moment over you too.
Aww. You're making me cry over here.
And I can't wait to become a part of your group if you allow me to. That would be
Oh my God, I love you.
I would just be honored to do that. And I've been wanting to meet you for such a long time, so thank you for being on the show. It gives me goosebumps all over the place.
Oh, well, thank you.
Thank you. I had to breathe there. I couldn't breathe for a moment.
You rocked the world, Tanya. Look at that.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, now my last contestant. I have seen you for a long time on TikTok, just doing lives and getting ideas for books from people. What was the weirdest suggestion for a line in a story that you were asking for assistance with?
Are you talking about the videos where because the week before I publish in my books, I ask people to give me a word, and if it's in my book, I'll read a line from it.
Yes.
So the weirdest suggestion. They usually try to like get me with like the most, just like someone suggested the word "the" one time. I was like, really? I know they were just doing it to just be obnoxious, and I was like, okay, cool, that's fun. My go-to is when I find someone else doing it is just shenanigans, just to see if they have it. But yeah, this last round, everybody had like normal words, like nothing that. Someone did say shenanigans, and I went, did I put that in my book? And I did. I was very proud of myself when I found it. I was like, oh, good job, me. But yeah, no one suggests anything too outlandish this time. So.
Oh, good. Okay, because I know when I was first talking to you, there was a moment there when you had this look on your face, like you were wondering how you were going to get out of it a little bit. But you also had a question about this storyline that you were working on, where you could not figure out a way to clear up the problem of the storyline loop. And I spoke to you about the bloodline of the people being able to activate.
Oh gosh, I don't even remember what story that was for.
Where you had the aliens, and the people were the only ones that could open it up or know where it was because they had the alien DNA in their bloodline.
No, I don't.
You don't remember that one?
I don't have aliens. I write contemporary romance, suspense romance, so no aliens yet.
I was pretty sure it was you that I was talking to.
You might, that it definitely goes in my paranormal romance.
Oh, so it might have been you that I was talking to. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Sorry.
Okay.
I was like, wow, that sounds really familiar.
Familiar.
Oh, that's a really cool idea, but no, I don't do the paranormal thing. And
so McKenna, did you use it?
Thing just yet.
McKenna, did you use it?
Well, yes. So in my paranormal universe, I'm trying to think of a short way to explain it. The shifter gene has been dormant in the DNA.
Yes.
And with the advent with the advent of nuclear technology, then this dormant gene becomes activated.
Yes.
And so there's also this alien technology has been seeded in the world, and only those with the shifter gene can access and use the technology. And so the background is, nobody really knows why this is happening. It's all leading towards, a revelation where you're like, oh, well, the aliens want to know if this DNA is present. So, yeah.
I'm so stoked that you used it. Oh my gosh.
No, I'm like, wait a minute, that was me.
Okay, now since I screwed that up so badly, run us through your books. Yeah, you.
Me?
Yes, Ms. Gardner. Yeah.
Oh, I was just like, who? So I'll grab the first one. I have a contemporary romance Fade to Black series called the Slut for Veil series. The first one's Even Angels Fall. This is the one that started off as a short story and turned into a trilogy.
Oh wow!
Because I'm wordy. My friends all know I'm very, very wordy. And right now I'm in the middle of writing my suspense romance series, and I put the third book out yesterday.
Yes.
It is not Fade to Black. It's like low to medium spice, and my friends are very, very proud of me. But yeah, that's my wheelhouse. No aliens just yet.
Do you have any favorite characters?
Do I have any favorite characters? I had a character almost take over my series. We'll take over a book.
Oh, tell me about that. I love those stories.
She is 6, and I had to literally yell at the screen and yell at the character and say, "Get your daughter out of here! She's taking over." So no, I love my first series. It was the story that I felt like I had to write. It was in my brain. It was just loud, and I had to write it. This one is the one that I am loving writing. I love the first series, but this one, all the main characters are absolute powerhouse dynamite women who are like, you're not going to push me on just because I'm a girl and you're a guy. No, I don't think so. But they all have their own little flaws too, because nobody is strong 100% of the time ever, and there's usually a reason they have to be. And so everybody's got their little quirk. There's some mental health checks in each book where it's like, hey, there's something they're struggling with. There's good and bad ways of coping with it because they're real. They're flawed. It's what they do, and they have to be strong. But they're sassy, and they're just like, no, you can't push me around just because, oh, you think you're the smartest person in the room. You're not, but okay.
You don't write any of your characters like you, do you?
No, I do. I got a couple.
I was teasing.
I got a couple. This one, everyone keeps telling me that Leanne reminds them the most of me, and I went, well, there's a lot of me in her, so good catch.
Yeah, because you're very intelligent, you're very funny, and you're very, you know what you want and when you want it, type of thing. So, and I apologize about screwing that up about the books. I really thought that was you and not McKenna, but thank you for including it, McKenna. I appreciate that. And Rick, I will let you have the show back.
Well, thank you, because we learned a lot that we wouldn't have learned without your questions, Tanya. And the big one for me was that what that asinine agent would say, women don't know how to shoot a rifle. Like, what's that person's world experience that makes him think that? Like, does he not realize that he's just being ridiculous? But that got me thinking about something. So TikTok, they pick out videos that they want to push, and they picked out one of mine, and it's got like I don't know, I think it's like 88,000 views or something or whatever. And it's one of the stupid ones where I'm like hawking the pen. It's literally like, let me unbox the pen that's down in my TikTok. But so obviously that's why they chose it. But the reason I bring it up is that a huge wide audience like that, you have some trolls on there, right, who are commenting some stuff. Like the funniest one to me was like somebody says he's obviously a meth user, and I'm like, so I know some people who battled with methamphetamine, and they are skinny and gaunt, and those are two things that have never been used to describe me. So I'm like, what? You just be like, just being a troll. But I'm like, man, if that's me, as white bread a dude as you can kind of be, I cannot imagine what it must be like to be one of you women putting yourself out there and risking having like all the trolls out there, like, because that's really one of my first experiences with people just being dumb and just being trolls. And so it's like, I cannot imagine, being in your shoes and doing that. So thank you for doing what you do, for being on TikTok, for putting yourself out there, because, we love what you all do. And I, very rarely, I think, do people who look like me appreciate and who are men appreciate what it is that you guys are doing by putting yourself out there like that. So I wanted to give you all a nice round of applause because that's incredible, that you guys do that. And so thank you. But I just, like whenever I hear stories like that, it should not catch me off guard as much as it does. But yeah, like that an actual agent who works in the literary world would tell another thriller author that nobody's going to believe your kick-ass female protagonist because women don't know how to use rifles. Like, okay, you better not say that publicly, dude, because you're going to have a lot of lasers pointed right at your, geez Louise. So sorry,
I can't wait till you can.
Tangent, but...
No, I can't wait till you see the look that you had on your face when that was said. I want to see you look at the video when that happens. But I also did make a mistake. with when I was talking to her about that other book, I forgot about her book covers that she does. And I did want to, yeah, and I did want to give her an opportunity to share the book covers that she does do, because she does a fabulous job on them. And I apologize about that, because I was so flustered about getting the wrong person in there that I screwed that up too. I'm batting 1,000 with you.
No, hey, it's all right. I was going to get to it also because I saw those in the comments. I'm like, ooh, another question for me to ask. Like, I'm always looking for good questions to ask our guests. So yes, please tell us about the book covers.
Okay, so it started off as kind of a fluke, I guess. Everyone's like, your covers are gorgeous. Who did them? And I went, me. I did them. And they're like, can you do a cover for me? And I was like, sure. And it snowballed into the coolest thing ever. So, I mean, I have my covers for this series. And I also have, and these are the only printed ones. The rest of them, I have them, all the authors who have released their covers, I have on my website. Because my personal thing is I will not splash the cover until I know the author has. And even they're like, Elizabeth, put the cover up. And I'm like, no, I'll wait. Like, that's my thing. And so I only have some of the printed covers, but I've worked with about 10 or 12 authors already. But like, and I just love when they just get to give me, like, I get free reign on some of these. And they're just like, I want nebula and colors, and I need a space station, but it's on a planet. And I'm just like, okay. And so we'll sit there, we'll go back and forth. And there's a lot of screenshots that go back and forth. But a lot of what the authors, like the feedback that I get, they love how interactive I am, because covers are very, very personal. And yes, they have to fit within the genre. They also have to reflect the author and their brand and their story. And it's a really fine line to tread to hit that balance where you're still true to the genre, true to the author, true to the story. And so I try really hard to make sure, because I've got genres all over the place, that it is true to it.
Hold that one up again. That's got one of the female models on there.
Yes, this is Brittany.
Yeah, that's Brittany.
She's on the cover. This is my friend Saren. And this is her new book. By the way, a little plug. I also right now, if I can do a little plug, I'm doing an ebook cover giveaway on I have a video pinned on my page, and it closes tomorrow. And any author, any genre who wants to enter to get a free ebook, that's the thing I'm doing right now, because I love making them. They're so much fun. I love them.
And we're just about to the point where everyone's going to get to tell us where we can find their stuff online, so you get to be very clear with everybody where they can go to find that. But first, I wanted to give a shout out to author W.L. Brooks down in the comments, and she has been, really engaging, and I can see the numbers, and she's our number one gifter today. So just, thank you for being so generous. We are so glad to have you on the show. I know that, I don't often get to, thank people by name, because we get so many things, so much traffic, and a really big audience. And today was a really big audience. Tanya and I are really going to like seeing the numbers later, I think, when we break them down. But, she has a bunch of comments, biggest gift giver. So I wanted to thank her by name. Thank you. We absolutely love it whenever people support most of all our panelists. And that's the thing, is as she's been commenting, she's really been hyping people up. So, we love that. And we thank you so much for being so generous. And don't be embarrassed. I see the emojis down there. Hey, it's like I was telling Calamity Jane earlier, we're just a bunch of people on here talking books and talking creativity. This is what we love to do. And so that's why Tanya and I, whenever we started the show, that was the spirit we started it with. There's a bunch of people who want to talk about this stuff. We can all learn from each other. And we love hearing the stories about how people connected, by listening to the show or watching it, because obviously we're all on video. But yes, thank you so much to W.L. Brooks. And so, because we have a nice big panel, let's go ahead and start talking about our websites. And we haven't heard from Aaron, and we all need to hear him speak. So please tell us where we can find you online and where we can find the books that you've narrated. Oh,
Wait,
Tanya.
I want everybody to be totally silent so we can hear him really well, okay?
Well, now you've put me on the spot. So I do have a more like an online portfolio, a catalog of some of the projects that I've done on my website, aaronswordsmithy.com/audiobooks. But one of the nice things that Audible does is that you can actually search and filter for a narrator. So if you go into Audible and search Aaron Smith, there will be a bunch of books that happen to maybe be narrated by someone with the last name Smith and written by someone with the first name of Aaron, but eventually you'll find my catalog of books. I did the math recently, and I think live on Audible there's 168 by me, and I've with the projects that I have booked and planned to be done in the next few months, I'm pushing 195 audiobooks so far. But I'm still extremely new when it comes to the whole marketing side of things. I know what I do well. What I do well is reading, but what I don't do well is marketing myself. So yeah, if anyone does, shameless plug for work here, if anyone does need an audiobook narrator, feel free to contact me. I am available.
No, there's no shame on plug like that. Like that's what we do here. Is we talk about our stuff and we let people know. And yes, obviously, if you want his services, reach out to him. And that's one of the wonderful things about BookTalk, right? Is that audiobook narrators are like, I'm here. You can just message me. You don't necessarily have to go through ACX and all that stuff. Although obviously there are reasons why a person would do that. 190 audiobooks. That's really incredible. Can people find Can people find your online portfolio through the link on your profile page? Usually that's the case.
Through some weird twist of fate, I'm able to go live, but I don't have 1,000 followers, so I can't put a link in my bio to be able to do that. I wish I could. I'm like 11 away. I saw, well, at least
we've got more people than that watching right now. Hey, everybody, go follow. I'm going to do that.
Go follow him.
I think I can do that right now.
As soon as I get to that point, my an email address to me or a link will be in there.
Yeah.
And if you could get his name, I have all of his stuff that he puts out saying, hey, I did this book, and I just keep promoting it for him, but he doesn't know I do. So go look at my page, and you'll see all of his work there.
And it looks like somebody down in the comments said that we got enough people to get you to 1,000. So I'll bet whenever you get off of here, you'll see. So that's awesome. And I did want to ask. Okay, so real quick, two things with you, Aaron. One, what is the crazy accent you brought up earlier that you did a character in an accent, and now the whole book is an accent? What accent was that? Like, you don't have to do it for us. I'm just curious if it was a different nationality or.
Yeah. So I don't want to say it's any particular nationality because I know that if I did that, then I would be absolutely getting that nationality wrong, not doing a good service to that nationality. But I tried to give the character of Orjan, as his name, a more of an exotic feel to him. And so whenever he talked, I put on this kind of voice for him whilst he was engaging. He was a knight of honor, dealing with a Robin Hood kind of character. In the second book, spoiler alert, he gets cursed, which causes him to be physically changed. So now in this book, while I'm narrating him, I'm doing the narration in that kind of voice, so a steady lump forms in my throat and my eyes begin to sting, but I fight back the tears. But because he's been physically changed, his actual dialogue voice, which is part reptilian, becomes, "It is fated. Twice I have attempted to get my life back on track."
You just went over 1,000.
Love it. I love it. All right.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations. All right. and also somebody said you can speak without an accent, which I assume means basic American. So that's just for people who like, hey, I don't have any English characters in my book. Like, hey, that's not necessarily a barrier. It sounds like.
I did an 18-hour audiobook, all with a Southern accent.
Hey, there we go. There we go. All right. I won't make you do it. Well, I have to make sure to get everybody in before we all turn into pumpkins. But awesome, and we are so glad that you are over 1,000. Get that link in there so people can listen to your portfolio, or they can just find one of your 190 audiobooks out there in the world. That's seriously an incredible number. So sorry.
Thank you.
McKenna, where can people find you online?
Sorry, I had to unmute myself. So, honestly, I spend more time on TikTok than I do anywhere else. I mean, I'm on all platforms, but this is my home. And on this account, the McKenna Dean Fiction account, if you go to the profile and you go to the link tree, you can go anywhere you want. You can go to the paranormal, you can go to the cozy, you can, find whatever you need. My MK Dean account, which is my backup account, is shy of 1,000 followers, and so that's why I don't have a link there. But that's the MK_Dean_author account. I would appreciate some love. The Jenny Reese Mysteries, the third book, is currently on pre-order, and I will be attending Malice Domestic for the first time ever at the end of April. I'm very excited about that. So that's where you can find me.
All right. Well, there we go. We got another call. Go find McKenna's MK Dean profile, like it. I'd love it if you did it right now, but make sure to go there and let's get her over 1,000 too, so she can. And like, it stinks that that's a barrier you have to get over with TikTok, but for authors and creators who create on places other than TikTok, having that link in your bio is important. It's where people can go. It's where they can learn more about you. But a lot of times, most importantly, they can actually go there and buy something, which is what we're all on here doing for the most part, right? So you definitely have another task, audience, and Tanya's phone died, which is why she's not with us. But as she would say, you can just find her as she's flying by. But most of the people on here watching probably are really good friends with Tanya anyway. But she's online. She's down there in the comments. You can go find her. Elizabeth, where are people able to find you?
I also spend a lot of time on TikTok, but on all social media platforms, it's Books by E.M. Garner. I figured I just made them all the same from the get-go. Also, there's a link in my bio to my website, which is emgarner.net, and to my merch, and to the author event that I'm helping host and attending in Canada next year, and covers, and pretty much, yeah. Message me, hit the website up. I'm here.
Are you in Canada?
I'm not. One of my author friends is. And
cool.
yes, we're hosting an event and still have some tables for other authors if they would like to show up. It's called the Grand Author Takeover. So yeah, there's a link.
I am going to block someone real quick because they're making really crappy jokes down in the comments. All right. So sorry about that. So yes, everybody go to her website and buy her book covers. And I, in probably the near future, may actually get you to do one for me because I have some short stories that I turned into an ebook, gave them away for my newsletter, but I think I'm probably done with that. So now I might actually put them out there. So I will make sure to bookmark your profile for that. And Sonia, how about you? Where are you online for people to find?
Well, if you like adventure thriller, you can find my Toy of the Gods book and the series on Amazon or on my website. Or you can go to the link in my bio. That will take you there. If you're interested in Women's Thriller Writers Association, it's women'sthrillerwriters.com. And if you want to stick your nose up at that agent who said a woman can't use a sniper rifle, you can find Linda Petrilli's book on Amazon. It's called In Her Sights by Linda Petrilli.
I'll have to buy a few copies. Yeah, just for that reason. That I just that I and I'm gonna have to actually do what Tanya said and just see what because I know that I like definitely like put my hands on my face or something. Like I know I had a pretty big reaction when you said that because I like I may message you to see who that agent is and make sure that
I don't know his name, but I'm going.
okay.
My goal this year is to go to that conference again and find out who it was.
Yeah, because that just the most, and it's not even just because I have I have a book out there that was very specifically with a woman who just absolutely kicks ass and kills a lot of people. Like it's not even it's just like I don't know, like that just bugs me. But but anyway, so yes, go. That sounds like a great organization. I'm definitely going to go check out the website, check out that book. And as for me, ricktreon.com is where you can find me, and that is what is on my profile page. My socials are not all the same because I started them at very different times in my life, and I was a beta tester because I'm old, and for some of them, and so I just whatever, like one of them is my initials and one of them is, some of them are just my name, some of them I have like I don't know whatever in them, but they're all in there on the website. And I recently migrated my newsletter to Substack, and that's been interesting because it's kind of a hybrid between a blog and a newsletter, and they have a chat function and they have a new notes thing, which is actually a lot like Twitter, which I kind of got off of after Elon Musk bought it, and it kind of got really toxic. So I don't really log on to Twitter very much, but it looks and it kind of feels like Twitter. Obviously, I don't have the following on there as I did on Twitter, but so that's interesting. And they do have a subscription model, so diversifying your revenue stream is always good. So I've been telling writers because I got on there because a couple of writers that I was already subscribed to their newsletter said, "Hey, I'm on Substack now, and this is how you're going to get your newsletter." So I checked it out. I liked it. So I'm telling everybody, if you don't have a newsletter, you should start one. And if you haven't started one, if you start straight with Substack, it's free. There are no limits on the amount of subscribers because that's one thing like MailChimp and some of those other guys have. And that's why I was looking to move because I was fortunate. I got more subscribers than was on their free plan. So I was like, okay, is there anywhere I can go where it is free to have close to 1,000 followers? And Substack was a good answer. So I am also on Substack. If you are on Substack, come find me. So far I've been subscribing back to everybody. Like, why not? That's kind of that's one thing that was great about TikTok is that nobody, if your follower count and your following count is the same, all the better. That just basically means that you're being really nice to people. So the only thing I don't like is that you can only follow 10,000 people. Apparently, I learned that recently. So that's so I'm probably going to be a little more selective. If you're not really a BookTok type of account, I may not follow you back. You may have to message me or come find me and say, "Hey, no, I really am," just because I don't have like books on my videos or whatever. So, but anyway, that is our show. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming on. We all had a really great time, I think, and I really liked. Thank you, Tanya, for getting Shayla to come on early. I know that McKenna was taking a lot of notes. I'm sure we all were. And fortunately for me, I get to hear her speak just about every year through the High Plains Writers. So I definitely I'm so glad that she was able to share her wisdom with all of us. And Calamity Jane, she was on here earlier, and whenever she said I don't like whenever I say I don't like how my voice sounds, like I think objectively we can all understand that, right? Like I'm not a voice actor. But her voice, oh my goodness, I can't believe that she that's because just great voice. And then Aaron, obviously I like that we had Calamity Jane, and then we had Aaron over here, like we had a man and a woman narrator. That's not always the case unless we get couples who narrate, which by the way, that should definitely be like its own BookTalk channel. So for those couples out there who are narrators, if you're not already doing that, I just gave you there's a free reality show for you. Go sell that, and just if you give me 2%, I'll be happy. But anyway, So thank you for to Calamity for coming on, and wonderful panel. Give yourselves a round of applause. This was awesome. We really appreciate it, and we had a great audience out there tonight. We really did. I thanked W.O. Brooks, but whenever Tanya and I go over the numbers here in just a little bit before I go get my late dinner like I do after the show, I think we're going to be very pleased with the engagement and with all of this stuff. So appreciate it. thank you. I'm going to stop talking now because if I don't stop myself, I'm just going to talk for another 2 hours. So thanks, everybody. One more round of applause, and we will see you all next week. Same time, 7 Central, right here.